Hello and welcome, Sabine Robertson with Silver International Realty, and I'm here today with Janet. Janet, how are you?
I'm great this morning, thank you.
Yeah, and Janet is helping me get organized, so I'm so excited to have some help, and she's doing a fantastic job. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Today's video, I decided to do a little different than some of my past videos. I have Janet here today because Janet is looking to also purchase a home. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to have a discussion about the home buying process and kind of give you some guidance on what it is like to buy a home in the Emerald Coast.
Well, I'm looking to purchase a home here in the Emerald Coast, probably a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I'd like it all on one level. What's my first steps to find something like this?
Okay, so you already determined your location where you want to be?
Somewhere in close to this area, Santa Rosa Beach area, Emerald Coast.
Okay.
But really not any further than Destin.
Okay.
And in Inlet Beach, in that area.
Okay, are you trying to determine if you want to be north of 98 or if you want to go a little bit closer to the beach?
Well, I understand that closer to the beach is going to be more money. So what are my options?
Well, the first thing we really need to do, Janet, is we need to establish your budget, what you are looking for, and are you planning to finance the home, or you're trying to play cash for the home?
I'll be financing. I'll be putting down a pretty significant down payment, but I will have to finance part of it.
Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is connect you with some of my local lenders. I have different lenders that I work with, some that are specializing in primary residential homes, some are in condos, and some are, on second investment properties. So that would be the first step to see what, your monthly payments, what you're comfortable with, and also what your budget is. And then once you have applied for your loan, then we can start going house hunting.
Okay, and then I know when I finance, there'll be an escrow. So what all am I looking at that I'll have to have in my escrow account? Like my insurance, do I have to have flood insurance, hurricane insurance? What are my steps as far as what I need to look at?
Those are great questions. So when you're purchasing a home, the buyer has to not only put a down payment down, like a 3.5% or 5%, like you said, you're putting down a hefty down payment, but in addition, you also have a closing cost, and your closing cost will cover the closing company's cost. You will have to have homeowner insurance, and you also will pay for your home inspection. So you do have to plan, and I roughly calculate anywhere between 3 and 4% of the purchase price gives you a good ballpark figure what you need to have for closing costs to go into escrow.
Do you have to have flood insurance and hurricane insurance when you're on this side?
Well, in the Emerald Coast, a lot of areas are in flood zones. If you are in a flood zone X, your lender will not require flood insurance. But I personally always recommend anyone at the Emerald Coast to get flood insurance. You're looking at $400 or $500 a year. Now, if the home is not in a flood zone AE, then your flood insurance will increase, obviously, and also will be required by your lender.
What is your fee for this?
That is such a good question, because people always think that, what do I have to pay? Sabina, what are your fees? Well, the seller pays the real estate commission. So you are getting the advantages of having somebody to look out for you, give you all sorts of information, and at the closing table, I get paid by the seller.
Oftentimes I've heard that they'll up the price to cover their but I can only be they can only sell the house for what it actually appraises for, right?
You mean in this market right now, it's a seller's market, and you're absolutely right. A lot of sellers are putting crazy numbers out there. So, if you are going through the financing process, the home has to appraise, or somebody has to pay the difference. So it would either be you or the seller, or sometimes you can meet each way halfway. But yes, it does have to appraise. So it's really important for us, before you make an offer, to do a market analysis and see, will the house appraise? Most likely. I mean, there's never a 100% guarantee, but that's really important, because otherwise you go through the inspection of the house and you're investing all your time and energy, and then if it doesn't appraise and the cost, the difference can't be covered, then you have to withdraw your offer and move on to another one.
So if that happened, would I get my earnest money back, or my?
You will get your earnest money deposit back only if you are within the timelines of the contract and if it is written contingent on your financing. So in a typical contract, there's a 30-day period for you to get your loan commitment. So as long as in those 30 days you get everything accomplished, you will get your earnest money deposit back. But if it takes the lender longer than 30 days, and me, the realtor, doesn't write an addendum to address this, then you potentially could lose your earnest money deposit. So that is something really important. So what I do with my buyers, the moment we go under contract, I create a timeline with all the important events, and I'm sending you a Google link to it, and we all are communicating regularly and making sure that your EMD is protected.
Okay. So I guess my first step then is to contact the lender. Mm-hmm. And get all the needed information that she needs from me, which is usually pay stubs and W-2s and tax returns. And then from that point, I'll know what I can qualify for.
Right, and don't forget your credit score is really important too. The better your credit score, the better your interest rates. It's a direct correlation, and they will try to establish, what they can qualify you for. But one of the things that I think is important too, you may qualify up to $1 million, but if you can't afford the monthly payments, that doesn't make sense. You need to be comfortable with what they are telling you your monthly payments are. So we look into a home that you're not going to be house poor, that you can afford, that it's comfortable for you. So, together with your lender, you can decide that, right? Okay. Budget.
Because if I'm looking at a condo or a townhome, there's usually an HOA fee involved also. So that's on top of your monthly payment, your mortgage, and then you have your insurance and taxes, and now HOA fees.
That's correct. And if you buy a condo, they are quite a lot more. Now keep in mind, with a condo, your homeowner association include fees. Your special assessment already cover a lot of the amenities, like your water and your garbage and your internet. Sometimes it's already included, so the only thing you'll be paying is electric and also the insurance for the interior of the unit, because the exterior is already covered by the condo association.
So any improvements that I make outside, I couldn't make any. They do all the outside painting and everything like that. So.
It all depends. It varies from condo to condo and homeowner association to homeowner association. I sold a couple of townhomes in Escada, and they actually covered the roof and the exterior paint in the homeowner association.
So now I've been approved.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all my information to my lender, and I'm approved. We've shopped, and I found my perfect home. What's my next step?
Well, now the real work starts, Janet. The first thing I do is we get your home inspection scheduled ASAP, because I like you to get a real understanding of what the condition of the home is. And there are all kinds of home inspections. So I usually recommend you start out with a general home inspection, and based on that inspection, we may need to do additional inspections like the age of the roof, the HVAC, and also the electrical, the type of wiring they use, the age of the home. All these things could cost you a lot of additional maintenance down the road. So we want to make sure you have a clear understanding on the condition of the house. Once you go through the inspection, the next step then would be to, get the appraisal. The lender will order the appraisal, and you as a buyer will pay for the appraisal.
But that'll be in my closing cost, right?
That is correct. Now, the home inspection is something you pay up front.
I thought so. And they usually run about how much?
About $400 to $500, depending on what you do. I just had a buyer that requested an air sample mold test, and that was like $300-400. And you know, the reason he did it is because he purchased a home before, and when he moved in, he found that there was mold in the house, and so now he wanted a mold test. Luckily, the inspection was all clear, but there's all kinds of inspections you can do, but yet you pay them up front.
Okay.
And then you also need to do a WDO inspection. It's a termite inspection. So it's very important in Florida to make sure you have no wood rot. Anytime you see wood rot on the house, that will attract termites. So you want to make sure you are clear of any wood rot. And the lender, depending on what loan you are using, if you're using a VA, FHA, or conventional loan, some lenders require you to have a clear WDO inspection and some don't.
They do find things wrong with the house, say the wiring, or can I make them repair?
Yeah, everything is negotiable, Janet, but you know, I mean, I have had situations where we had the report and the buyer opted not to move forward with the house because the expenses were too severe, and in other situations we went back and negotiated. And that's where I come in, because you know, a lot about real estate is also negotiating, you know, not just negotiating the contract price so that you get a good price, but also when there are issues coming up with appraisals or repairs, you need to go back and negotiate. The most important thing is that, you know, if you choose to hire me as your realtor or somebody else, you need to have somebody to cover your back and that knows the area, knows the market, and has a network of people that work with you, from the title company to the home inspectors to any repairs that need to be done. I think that's really important, because ultimately you want to feel good about your investment, and it is one of your biggest investments you do.
Yes,
hopefully. Well, anyhow, you guys have a good day. If you have any questions, if we didn't cover something, just comment below, and I'm happy to reach out to you. If you have any additional questions, I'm always here. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, tschüss.
Bye.